Hello and welcome. Alright, in case you've been living under a rock, or you don't watch kid movies because you don't have kids and you're one of these so-called normal people who have never experienced having parents give them dirty looks for being a college-age kid by himself at the release of a kid's movie, say, hoodwinked, for just a random example, and certainly something I've never experienced myself, let me tell you about the latest Disney/Pixar movie, Onward. Onward takes the question of, what if Star-Lord joined the Big Brothers Big Sisters program and was paired with Peter Parker, and the two of them went on a road trip to bring Tony Stark back to life for one day? Should that count as a spoiler? I think enough time has passed from Endgame for that not to be a spoiler. Anyways, this video does contain spoilers for Onward, so you might want to watch that if you haven't yet. It's available as part of Disney Plus, along with just tons of your childhood nostalgia. Now, I loved Onward. It was a solid movie, albeit a somewhat paint-by-numbers road trip movie from a production studio that's been known for being innovative and groundbreaking, along with a single line that will either have you praising Disney for their progressivism or rolling your eyes at inserting political commentary in a kids movie, depending on what side of the aisle you typically find yourself on. The thing that made me disappointed at the end of the movie, however, was not a somewhat generic road trip plot, but the fact that there was a missing character arc in the movie. Let me give you a quick rundown of the plot of Onward to see what I mean. Onward opens up with the main character's dad narrating about how the world used to be a place of wonder and magic. But it was hard to learn magic, so once science was discovered and we learned easier ways to accomplish basic tasks, magic became lost to the ages. Still, the dad hopes there's just a tiny bit of magic left in his sons. From there we meet the two main characters for the movie. The younger brother, played by Tom Holland, an awkward, shy, and somewhat antisocial boy on his 16th birthday, and the older brother Barley, played by the amazing Chris Pratt, a magic-obsessed, college-age guy who spends all his time fantasizing about playing D&D and defending historical sites instead of actually attending college. On Ian's 16th birthday, their mom gives them the last memento of their father, a wizard's staff that had been tucked away in the attic until both his sons were grown up. Included with the staff were instructions for a spell that would let the dad come back for a single day, and a magic crystal that would provide the magical energies required to cast such a massive spell. Barley is thrilled and tries to cast the spell for hours, but to absolutely no success. After Barley finally gives up, Ian finds himself alone with the staff and casts the spell by complete accident. Well, he mostly casts the spell. Ian starts to lose control, and when Barley steps in to help him, Ian reacts negatively and the spell is left only half completed. It's here that the road trip portion of the movie kicks in. To complete the spell, they have to find a replacement Phoenix gem before sundown the next day. Fortunately, Barley knows everything there is to know about magic, and the two of them set off to find the Phoenix gem. Along their journey, they encounter several different mythical creatures that have forgotten the magic that existed within them, only to find that spark rekindled after interacting with Ian, and mainly Barley. Such as the Manticore, who is running a shenanigans-type restaurant, or pixies who have forgotten how to fly and are instead a dangerous biker gang. And of course, like any good road trip movie, they're being chased by the law by the end of their journey, who in this case just so happens to be their mom's new boyfriend, along with their mom and the Manticore. And the brothers have a falling out toward the end of the second act when it's revealed that Ian thinks that Barley's a screw-up, wasting his life away. However, by the end of the movie, they've mended things up. Ian is now confident in who he is, having mastered magic. The Manticore has rediscovered her passion for life. The mom is a brave, strong warrior. The mom's boyfriend has likewise rediscovered a passion for his life and accepting the wonder that is innate to who he is. And Barley got to say goodbye to his dad, I guess? Now, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful moment that may or may not have had me in manly tears thinking about getting to spend one more minute with my own dad, but what it wasn't was a character arc. We know from earlier in the movie that Barley regretted not saying goodbye to his dad, and getting to see that regret resolved was nice, but it didn't cause any growth in Barley. For being one of two main characters in this movie, the fact that they left Barley in the same emotional and social position as he started the movie in, as an unemployed, uneducated young adult who likes playing D&D, made no sense. Also, why don't you tell me what you really think about people who play D&D, Disney? I'm not sure I can read between your oh-so-subtle commentary here. That said, I do believe that there was initially an arc intended for Barley, but it ended up being stolen by a different character, Barley's mom. You see, in the big final action piece, Barley has found the Phoenix gem and released a curse that takes the form of a giant concrete dragon. Ian uses all the vast magic he's learned in the past 24 hours to go off and confront the dragon. Which, small nitpick here, but if you're going to start your movie by saying how hard it was to learn magic, and then go out of your way to have Barley tell Ian that lightning bolt is the hardest magical spell you can learn in the entire book, maybe you don't have Ian learn that spell along with several other spells in the course of 24 hours, or else I'm going to call you a dirty, filthy liar, or accuse Ian of being a Gary Stew. Maybe what you do is you have Barley comment that Ian must have the natural wizarding abilities that you only see once every 1,000 years, or how he conjectures that perhaps all that magical energy that was stored in the gym that should have gone toward completing the spell when the gym broke and was only half done with the spell, that excess energy, it must have grounded itself in Ian or in the wizard staff or something, anything, some quick and dirty line to explain why Ian has all these fantastical abilities. Anyways, throughout the final fight, Barley stands on the sidelines while it's his mom who shows up with the sword and fights to take down the dragon with Ian. I think initially this fight was intended to be Ian and Bradley's fight together, but for some reason they decided to swap Barley out for his mom to give her, I don't know, maybe a strong female empowerment scene. And while I have no issue with a strong female empowerment scene, provided it's not a cringe-inducing pandering moment, narratively having it be the mom just makes for a weak moment. The movie acts as if giving her this strong woman scene justifies her ending the movie by leaving the house with a battle axe. But you see, the mom starts the movie doing a workout video, saying that
I'm a mighty warrior.
Her first interaction with Barley involves her throwing him to the floor. This being the mom's arc makes the character arc kind of flat. It's not even a matter of her finding the magic inside her the way the Manticore or her boyfriend or the Pixies did. It's not a completely flat arc, but it's definitely a mostly flat arc for the mom. A better arc for their mom, and one that I think they initially intended for her, would have been for her to grow into a mom who trusts her sons as they grow into adulthood. For the whole movie, the mom spends her time worrying over her sons. She thinks Ian is shy and a wimpy teenager, and that Barley is a screw-up, to be honest. She doesn't even trust her adult firstborn son to drive to a nearby city to visit a respectable and well-known restaurant with her other son. Just take a look at the scene when they arrive at the restaurant. It's the beginning of a young child's birthday party. This is not happening late at night. It's just barely after sundown, and yet she has zero trust for her sons. So having her go from that to trusting them as the young men they are would be a strong arc. And more importantly, it now frees up the final action piece to bring a completion to Barley's arc. Just like before, Barley triggers the curse when he takes the Phoenix Gem. He manages to get it to Ian, and they start casting the spell to finish bringing their dad back. The dragon moves in to stop them, but their mom and the Manticore show up just in time and buys them enough time to complete the spell, but a lucky hit from the dragon takes them both down. And this is where I take things in a different direction. Instead of Ian and his mom taking on the dragon while Barley stands around waiting for his dad to finish being brought back by the stone, Ian now runs forward with Barley and says, "I'll hold off the dragon, you take care of mom." We get to see the fun scene where Ian uses all the spells he's learned through the movie. Meanwhile, Barley runs up to his mom and tries to get her back on his feet. "Come on, Mom, Ian needs you." She tries to stand up, but her leg is injured. "I can't help him. You're going to have to do it, Barley." Barley looks surprised, and then quickly shakes his head no. No, I can't. You saw me with the staff. I couldn't cast a spell. I can't use magic." His mom gently pats his cheek and says, "Barley, you know you have more than one parent, right? You're my son too, and you are a strong warrior." As she speaks, a look of understanding comes over Barley's face. He grabs the sword, and now he's the one fighting the dragon with Ian. Working together, they successfully defeat the dragon, except in my version, it's not just bad luck that gets Ian unable to see his dad. The explosion caused by destroying the dragon sends a massive amount of debris headed toward their mom, and Ian makes the choice to protect her with his magic. While he is successful, the effort leaves him drained, completely exhausted, and trapped by the debris. Barley runs over trying to dig Ian out, but Ian tells him to go. Tell their dad goodbye. Barley gives him a thankful nod, and he gets the same ending as before, but now Ian gets a moment with his mom where she tells him how much like his dad he is, how getting to see him grow up is like getting to see a small piece of their father every day, and how thankful she is for that. This small change to the final scene gives Barley the conclusion that his character arc needed, and it makes for a dramatic change to the movie and its messaging. That you aren't a screw-up just for having different hobbies than other people. That it's okay to be feeling insecure when you're young or when you're older. That you'll find out who you are someday. And that sometimes a parent just has to trust their kids to make the best choices they can. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please share it, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that bell icon to be kept up to date with all the new videos that I release on this channel. And as always, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.